Yeah, that's right. We're talking about this. So, if you guys were in the last live stream that I did, I had briefly just talked about this show, Family Matters. And I briefly talked about MYRA and all that because I had said that I loved MYRA more than Laura. And that's not a lie. And no, it's not because of the shades of color they both were, but because of their character and what they did in this said show. Now, I've been wanting to talk about this for the longest time on this channel, but I wasn't sure whether or not, it was going to be perceived well. But since I no longer give a damn, we're going to be talking about this. So, I had came across this video a few months back. This came in July of 2021. This was on my recommended page at the time. I had saved it, and now I'm finally going to be looking at it. This is Family Matters, MYRA Mattered. By the way, the actor who played MYRA had passed away after this show. I believe after this show stopped airing. Well, not airing. After the show ended. Rest in peace to that beautiful woman. I remember this. Yeah.
These videos are not for children. If you are a children, then piss off.
I hear
Hey
you.
there, it's me, your least favorite YouTuber, Infuso. And I've already talked about Family Matters a couple times on this channel. And I'm pretty sure in most of my videos on the subject, the character Myra Monkhouse came up once or twice. But my number one reason for hating Urkel, I'm not even playing here. My number one reason for harboring an intense hatred of Urkel after all these years, the very reason I stopped watching the show as a kid, and that's that he traded in MYRA for Laura. And all these years later...
No. But no, look, listen. Let's talk about this real quick. I knew he was gonna say that, but let's get into that real quick. Real talk. And this is sad and unfortunate to say. When I was a kid and I watched this, and I saw MYRA Monkhouse for the first time, I immediately fell in love with her. Because you can instantly see that the difference between her and Laura. Steve and Laura grew up together. He came to the house every time, and every time he was good and nice to her. She treated him like shit. Then when MYRA came around, instantaneously, she saw Steve for who he was as a person and accepted him immediately. She was so into him. And it really just kills me. And we're not even a minute into this video and I'm already on this. But they say that for a guy, if you want yourself a woman who's into you, get you a woman that already is right off the bat. If a woman is into you, marry her. Welcome her into her life and love her back. And in this case, Steve didn't. Yeah, at first he was all about it. And at first it would seem like it honestly seemed like he was going to choose her no matter what. But then this show liked to fuck our perception over, and he chose Laura still. Even though she wanted to change him. No, she literally changed him. She literally made him go, from him to his nerd side to Urkel, the suave, handsome dude. She literally made him do that, and in some episodes against his will. Like, we're not even a minute in this video, and I'm already heated. But yeah, come on.
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm still a little salty about that.
So am I.
but I've only talked about her situation with the show in passing.
Oh my
As I
gosh, she's
previously
beautiful.
mentioned in another video, Urkel was a late addition to the first season of Family Matters. What was supposed to be a one-episode deal became a reoccurring role, and that reoccurring role then became an opening credit. Urkel didn't just become a member of the main cast. Urkel became the show itself.
Right.
With everyone who came before him taking a back seat to his rise to power. Behind the scenes, it was some real Scarface type shit going on. Since Steve Urkel's very first appearance on the show, he was written to have a huge crush that bordered more on the lines of an obsession with the Winslow daughter, Laura.
Yes.
And episode after episode, year after year, time after time, she would turn him down.
Yes.
Continually. Steve, for smart as he was, somehow didn't take the hint. And he continued to pursue Laura over the course of the next couple of years.
But I thought what I would like is for you to leave me alone.
And the crazy about that was, you would think that after she said that, he would have gotten a hint. You would have think that. Not even a hint. He would have realized. I mean, he did realize it. He did. But it's like he just automatically forgave her once she showed the least bit amount of feeling sorry for him. Steve Urkel was the biggest simp. If you want the definition of what a true simp is, it's that right there. Simps are ones who do not care if they get disrespected by the woman they love. They will still stick around. And today, I'm looking at this now, it is the most toxic shit ever. Because he deserved more than that. He didn't deserve any of that. And truth be told, in this whole show, she chooses the guy that is nothing like Steve, and she always got cheated on or played. This show proved the truth about how society sees people who are nerds and good-looking people. And in the rare form, that one specific light, that one gem that sees the nerd people for who they actually are and loves them no matter what they do. And in the same breath, they still choose the person that hurt them or make them feel less than what they were. Now, granted, there were episodes where he did stand up for himself. There were. But he should have just left her alone. Especially the moment MYRA came around. And just focused only on MYRA. I believe that.
I know I'm not worthy of you, but I just can't help loving you. It's like wanting to touch a star. You know you'll never reach it, but you just gotta keep trying.
As Urkel became the star of the show, much more focus was put on his love for Laura. Which makes sense, as that seemed to be Steve's sole motivation in life. Well, that and also trying to give Carl Winslow a stroke. Eventually
he did.
Urkel's pursuit of her. And so does her boyfriend at the time, too. Halfway through season 4, the two scheme to try and find a permanent solution to their Urkel problem. Laura sets Urkel up with her boyfriend's cousin, MYRA. The two hit it off immediately and bond over their similar nerdy interests and seemingly identical IQs. I have to give Michelle Thomas credit here. She was tasked with being the love interest to one of the most famous TV show characters in history.
Yes.
But to her credit, she was up for the task.
She was.
She arrived prepared, as her energy instantly matched his.
Yes!
They clicked, and their relationship, well, it just made a whole lot of sense.
It did!
Well, I mean, outside of why MYRA would be interested in someone like Steve, especially when Steve was still somewhat interested in her cousin's girlfriend, but nonetheless, outside of that, it made plenty of sense. The couple worked.
It did.
Easily my favorite relationship on the show, right behind Carl and Harriet.
Thank you.
Much like Steve Urkel's arrival to Family Matters, MYRA also shook things up. Which is good, because let's be honest, this could have very easily been a 3J situation. Adding characters late into a series doesn't always work. For every Castiel, there's like 3 Cousin Olivers. Thankfully, MYRA was no 7. Her entrance into the show was an impactful and welcome one.
Tell him.
Giving Steve a much healthier love interest.
Yes.
Because she was actually interested in him.
She was.
Giving the show a new dynamic to play with. Like Steve's love for Laura, Myra's love for Steve also became an unhealthy obsession. Though it is a little bit different because Steve was still willingly a part of it. You know, it's not great behavior, but he was the one enabling it. So, you could point your finger at either one and you're right both times. Myra loves Steve.
Yes.
She supported him in all that he did.
Yes.
Remained by his side through his failures and his flaws. And for 4 to 5 seasons, she was everything you could possibly want in a partner.
Hell yeah! Say it again. 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 Say it again, bro. Say it again. Like, and I know I'm probably going to hate for this, but real talk, Myra, I'm being real, I'm gonna be straight up real. Myra was way more finer than Laura. I'm sorry, she was. I'm sorry. They both black. I love black women. I love me some black women. But Myra was more finer than Laura. And it was not because of the skin color. It's because she had won't. I mean, sweet Jesus. She was a Coke bottle compared to Laura's wine glass. She was a fully shaped Coke bottle, and I ain't talking about the ones the plastic bottle. I'm talking about the glass bottle. You know, the old school glass bottles where it was this and then it was that. Myra was that. Laura, she was like this. If I'm just being fair. She was like this. She was like a one of those plastic water bottles where like the top is a little more curvy and the bottom is just like this. Laura wasn't ugly. She was not ugly at all. She was fine too. But Myra, she hit it up there. And exactly what he said, she loved him so damn much. She was so attentive. She knew everything about him, his likes, his dislikes, everything. And she listened to him. She listened to Steve. Even when he was doing his nerdy shit with science and him inventing shit, she was there for him. So it just doesn't make sense. I just don't get it why they will go with the whole terminology that despite the fact that she is right there, he still chooses Laura. Even though Laura has constantly proven that she's going to move on and she does not see him as a romantic partner. She's like she's what's the word? Grotesque of him. Like she's repulsed by him. It just doesn't make sense, dude. It just doesn't make sense.
So of course Steve dumps her the second he has so much as a little bit a sniff at a chance with Laura.
Right.
And this right here is where I stopped watching the show. No joke. I dead-ass stopped watching the show.
I would too.
As soon as this happened. I always thought things got too goofy for my taste, even back then. But I kept watching because I liked the characters. Carl and Harriet had great banter.
They did.
Even Myra's adventures were always entertaining.
It was.
Eddie had the best lines in all of the show.
He did.
Could give Jazz a run for his dumb money.
Seriously.
All of that's what kept me watching. But breaking Myra and Urkel up, that was my breaking point.
Worst decision ever. Worst decision ever.
For a long while, Myra was actually my favorite character.
She was amazing.
With Steve and Laura drove a lot of the more fun plots in later seasons. Her performance was perfect and was the reason I tuned in. She could be cute, she could be compassionate, she could be crazy. And all of it still managed to feel natural for her character. Michelle Thomas balanced all those aspects out perfectly, and I appreciate that. Plus, you know, when I was younger, I may or may not have had a little bit of a crush on her.
I did. Look, ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Michelle Thomas was, she was just, bro, the way she smiled and how her hair was, she was just, it's just, you wish a girl like that just came in front of your door and just welcomed you. You wish it. Like, a woman like that is very rare to come by. It's very rare. It is very, very, very rare. Especially now today. It is very rare for a woman to even appear to you like that. But, oh Lord. Michelle Thomas, fire. MYRA, fire. Fire.
Life, I realized I was into crazy chicks. And I have never outgrown that.
I mean, there is, they look, that we have a saying about crazy girls. They're crazy for a reason. And if they crazy about you, then you know that they loyal. Especially, no, I'm like real talk. A lot of crazy women, if they love a man, they are down bad for them. They will do anything for that man. Anything for that man. And they will not cheat on you at all. Because they love you that damn much. And they only see you. They only see you. They only have eyes for you. It's you and them against the world. And that's the bottom line. And that's the truth. That is the truth. Now, insane girls? No. Psycho women? No. But crazy girls? Yes. There's a limit. Okay? And there's a limit and there's a difference. Learn between the two. Okay?
Fortunately. Yeah, so I had a thing for MYRA. Who did? But I'm sure that didn't affect my judgment. The same way Ginger Spice was my favorite Spice Girl because I really liked her music. Yep. Hers, specifically.
I liked her eyes.
Only her.
She was beautiful.
Amazing musician.
I loved her eyes.
She was the Beatles of her time, but in all seriousness, Michelle Thomas was an extremely talented woman.
She was a wonderful woman.
Kept me invested then, and even more so now. I enjoy her comedic stylings. I don't think that just anybody could pull this role off the way that she did. It's a real shame that those talents were, for the most part, only recognized here. But a lot of time, talent goes completely unrecognized, so at least we have this. And from my experience, untalent never goes unrecognized. People love to point that out, especially if you have a comment section. Secondly, I never, in all of my days, wanted to see Steve actually make it with Laura. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me as a child, and it makes even less sense to me now watching this as a man-child.
I hear you.
Don't get me wrong. I understand that Steve and Laura was probably going to be the end goal of the show. As soon as the audience decided Urkel should be kept around, that's probably when a concept for this came up. I get that was a starting point.
Yeah.
But the thing is, things change. Sometimes shows outgrow certain plots, people, and parents.
Right.
Look at How I Met Your Mother. Robin and Ted were the end goal of that show. But by the time the show got to its end, people were kind of hoping for a different achievement. Robin and Ted's romantic chemistry seemed to dissipate. Their friendship was beyond evident, and having Ted come to the realization that he was in love with Robin in the show's last season felt really unnatural. Fans wanted to see Robin and Barney become an old married couple. They wanted to see more of Ted's relationship with the mother. This is like the exact opposite of the problem I have with Smallville. But you know what? We'll get into that another time. My point is, I think that Family Matters ran into a similar issue. Steve always pined for Laura, sure, but Laura at no point in time seemed to reciprocate that at all. The two shared chemistry as performers, but I don't think these two characters specifically had any romantic chemistry.
I hear you.
At no point in time do they seem like a legitimate couple. They seem like a sentient plot convenience.
They were.
I'd appreciate it if Steve and Laura's romance was maybe built to, but it really wasn't. It was always shown to be one-sided until one day, randomly, almost a decade into its run, it wasn't.
You actually like Steve Urkel? I'm starting to.
I mean, practically overnight, Laura decides that she likes Steve, and his successful long-term relationship with MYRA is cut off, and we're rushed into an unwanted Steve and Laura pairing.
Right, like it immediately cut off. The moment she said that line, like the episode after that, all of a sudden, MYRA and Steve are over. What? After all that they went through, like the fact, as you know, as much as she stuck around, Steve went to a damn convent because he was concerned that he was gonna lose MYRA forever. All that just got thrown away because Laura decided to have feelings for Steve all of a sudden. Because she finally saw what Myra saw in him. Nah, I'm sorry. No woman gets to get that chance after they've ghosted you for all that long time. No, nobody, period, should ever get that chance, whether man or woman, after they've ghosted you or treated you like shit after that all that long while. They don't deserve that shit. Men and women, period, on both sides. They don't deserve that shit. No, I'm sorry. No. I don't care if he lived right next to her and it was easy access. Maybe that's what it was. That's what it was too. It was the fact that he lived close to Laura. But even that's not a decent excuse. That's not an excuse as to why he still reverted back to her, even though Myra was right there. Still.
And with the way that the show set it up, I'm sure it was unintentional with those in charge, but the timing of it is all really suspect.
It is.
And it does much more to cast a negative light on Laura's character. After knowing him and rejecting his advances for years, Laura only seemingly randomly becomes attracted to
him
Steve after he becomes successful. When he was some pencil-neck geek back in high school and middle school, Laura didn't give the guy the time of day. But now the man has a job with NASA.
Yep.
She's looking to put a ring on it. I don't know, it just seems all kind of convenient. It just doesn't sit right with me. Don't trust it.
I don't want to trust it either. And you know what? It's sad that a lot of women do that when a guy gets a government job, because NASA is, you're literally working with the government. The government funds NASA. So, yeah, government pay. Marrying the government. You didn't marry him. Even though she didn't outright say that. She never will outright say that. But that's the way it's implied. Because you don't just wake up one day, all of a sudden, oh, I love him. I'm in love with him. I want to go to this place and that place with him. And all of a sudden, you laughing at his jokes. No way. I'm sorry, dude. There's no way.
I don't like it. I don't like any part of that shit. When Steve and Laura finally do get together, it felt like they were missing a certain spark. No matter how much the show wanted to insist that these two were head over heels for each other, it just never came off as legitimate to me.
Yes.
The two were not making a love connection. It was not there. If that wasn't bad enough on its own, mind you that this relationship began the day the last one ended.
No!
Meaning the writers had to reprogram their audience into thinking, no, Laura isn't disgusted by Steve's mere existence. She's madly in love with him.
Ooh, I love that snort. What?
You had 8 seasons of Laura being annoyed by Steve. 8 years.
Yes!
People grew up in the course of that time. The actors in the show included. And now, just as we're getting close to the finale, you're gonna tell me that those feelings have morphed into a mutual affection somehow? What kind of late-in-the-game Stockholm Syndrome bullshit is this? Now, in addition to trying to gaslight your audience into thinking Laura actually was feeling Steve, you also needed to try and convince them that they were somehow more compatible than Steve and MYRA.
Thank you.
MYRA, who was basically written to be a female Steve Urkel.
Yes!
No, not like that.
Not like that,
not
but...
that one. Come on, get that shit out of here. I don't want to remember that performance. MYRA and Steve had everything in common. Everything except for Steve's love for Laura. The two worked well together and seemed practically inseparable. So separating them in the show's final season, to me, just kinda seems like a mistake. Logically, MYRA was the better fit for her.
She was.
Like that,
she is.
Would have been more satisfying for for all characters actually. I do understand the show wanting to recapture interest by doing something unexpected in their last season. You know, for almost a decade, audiences thought they'd never see the day Laura and Steve got together. This would be like Rachel giving into Gunther's clearly irresistible charm. My issue with it is that I think this shocking twist kind of came at the expense of several other happy endings. Let Laura have Stefan, keep MYRA with Steve, and send 3J somewhere else. Anywhere else, just away from my TV screen. Bring him back when he's ready to finally star in Max Keeble's big move. Until then, I don't want to see him. It's not like Myra was some minor character. She was a main character. She was in the opening credits.
Exactly.
The fact that Myra was so easily written off and discarded is kind of sad. We don't ever really get closure for the character. Even when we see her in the series finale, she's still clearly not over Steve, despite the fact that he's ready to walk down the aisle with someone else.
Exactly.
It's a pretty sad ending for a character who's only guilty of not being Laura, but it's amazing what changes when you view something old with a new set of eyes. And after having put together this video and relived some of Myra and Steve's most famous and infamous moments, I still do think that Myra was better for Steve than Laura was.
I agree.
But now, I also think that maybe Myra was better off alone than being with Steve. Because for as compatible as the two were, at best, Myra was always Steve's second choice.
Always.
Always, even throughout their entire relationship, put Laura as his number one priority.
Right, he always put Laura first, and that's the saddest thing in the world because Myra was always there for him, but Steve always put Laura first, the woman that treated him like shit, literally. And Myra was always there for him, and she was always trying to bring the romance into the relationship. Steve didn't even try at times. He didn't even try at times. The level of effort he put into getting Laura, he did not put the same effort into getting Myra. He didn't. So yes, in that sense, Myra did deserve better. Or if not, rather be by herself. And then just have Steve realize that, hey, I just lost something good. Let me put the same effort that I put into Laura over here because she is worth it. Like sitcoms like this, it fucks up society's mental programming because we think that what Steve did was the most loving, most thoughtful thing to ever do for a woman who clearly hates you. To try and get her to love you. No, that is not good at all. Let the person who wants to be around you and put them around your world because they actually want to be there.
When Laura was feeling lonely, despite Steve being Myra's boyfriend, Steve was ready to hop back into his transformation chamber and bring back Stefan.
Yes.
Leaving Myra alone forever, I guess? As a matter of fact, when they were going out, Steve straight up told Myra that he was in love with Laura. That's while they were together.
Right.
Looking back at it, the show sort of treated Myra like she was Steve's consolation prize. And I think that is a tragic misuse.
It is it's tragic.
In the previous videos I made, I used the hashtag Justice for Myra. And Myra deserved better. But it wasn't until I started making this video that I realized just how true that statement is. I used to think that Myra deserved Steve. But now I'm thinking that she probably deserves someone better than Steve. You know, like someone who actually wanted to be with her. But regardless of how you feel on that situation, I think that we can all collectively agree Urkel fucked up.
She did.
You had one choice to make, and
Gratefully.
you chose wrong.
Right, you chose wrong, buddy.
Shot of getting it right,
Yes.
but you 100% failed.
Yep.
And what's even worse is
100%.
I don't know how much different this could have been. Michelle Thomas, who played Myra, was sick at the time.
Yes.
And by the time the last season of the show came, she was in so much pain that her time on set had to be severely limited.
Which is
she
sad.
sadly would pass away 5 months after the final episode of the show was aired.
Damn.
So in lieu of my usual closing,
That was my girl. That was my baby. That was my baby. Oh my God.
as always, thanks for watching, and I hope...
Alright. But yeah. Steve fucked up. Grateful, like royally fucked up when he did that. And it is unfortunate because that would imply that they literally just scrapped probably the whole idea of Myra being together with Steve in the end to having just Laura be around Steve because she was getting sick. And that's the most depressing thing in the world. It really is the most depressing ass thing in the world. It makes me sad to think about that. It really does. Myra deserved better. And look, in my universe, Myra and Steve are together and are married. In my universe. You feel me? But let me know what y'all think. Did y'all watch Family Matters when y'all grew up, or was it something different with y'all? Let me know in the comments down below. This has been Master of Sakurai. I'll put the original video in the link in the description down below. Go watch it and please support this creator. What's his name? Infuso. Go support him, please. With that being said, I'm gonna get up out of here. See y'all again next time. Peace.